Got some round stock here. Shine that all up. 7/8, that's going to be for the core pullers. Got 2 of those that shove in the back. And see what we can do here. Definitely looks much better than the original. Give it a little pat on there. That looks so much better. Not all fitted. I think that's going to work great. Here's the color scheme I come up with. Nice black and red. And I just painted this red here and touched it up with a little paintbrush. Highlighted everything. I think it's a really neat faceplate. So didn't think y'all wanted to watch me paint a bunch of items. We've all spray painted, so we know how to do that. So let me take you in and kind of show you where I'm at on the machine. It's looking pretty good. Now back to the drawing board. Just trying to make an adjustment. It's way out of whack. And I realized this one's broke also. Half turn of the screw and she finished breaking off, so that explains why it was out of adjustment so bad. So looks like I'm gonna have to braze another piece. And that's that front piece there. And guess we'll get started and get this one repaired also. Well, I got that one brazed back together. Now we got the adjuster again. See if we can get this all aligned and get it to line up where I want it to. So just had to get that one fixed. Hopefully nothing else breaks on this thing. But it's par for course, this whole machine. Sometimes you just gotta do that. Well, you can see where I've made it so far. Got some of it back assembled, painted back up. Definitely looks much better than the rustiness you've seen before. A lot of stuff moves. I still need to put those shabs in that you just seen me clean up. And attach that to the head. And painted the cores up. This is your head unit. And cut all those bolts off. There was no ways unbolting them and trying to save the square bolts. I tried to use square bolts where I could to make this still look original, but there's just a few here that I just couldn't do. Here's the first that I brazed. Kind of see where that's supposed to go. And the sun is definitely wreaking havoc on my video today. You can see I put a new shaft in here, and that's going to go in and out. A couple brackets. There's the big handle I fixed, and it's looking pretty good so far. So you're going to see me take these 7/8 round shaft, and that's going to go back down in the hole here. And get those in there. Get that back in there. My channel's doing one-handed. Now I'll take these brackets here, and that bracket gets folded onto the head unit right in here, and that'll allow that to go in and out to pull the handle. So I'll get those bolted on and show you how that all looks, how it all works. Got to get everything aligned and see how that goes. And it's about ready to make some block. The next process will be trying to get the packer unit all painted up and get a new shaft made up and the motor up there. So let's get this on and see how this core puller works now that everything's finally freed up. Alright, you've all seen me braze the top of this piece. And now that I got the machine all together, I could finally mock up and figure out what I need to do for this piece. Now this lever here is for that core puller and back, when it's supposed to have a foot pedal that comes out to the front, and that's what's broke off on the front of this. So I need to get her all mocked up so I could figure out what I'm going to do. I'll take a piece of new steel here and I could braze onto that, and I'll make her come out to the front, try to make it loop around, and I'll have my foot pedal. But first I got to get her all cut up, get her all square, so I can get this piece brazed on, and from there I could easily weld the rest of the foot pedal. Be a little bit easier to work with, a little faster, but try to make it look as original as I can. So we'll get started on this, grind this, get her brazed, get some stuff laid out, and I'll show you a picture of what I've done so far. We'll take a look and see what the final little foot pedal looks like. Then the machine portion will be done, and we'll start working on the packer. So I just got done fixing this and letting it cool down so I could touch it. So since there was nothing here at the end and I need the foot pedal, I could take this piece, your rod connects here for the little flipper, spring goes in here. So I took and brazed on a piece of cold rolled, then welded a piece on the bottom for more support so I could attach. So you can see I brazed all this in. Right up in here and on around, I went up underneath this piece a little bit and kind of see how that's all done there. It's all brazed in. So I could also attach it right up in here for the support. Give me that extra little bit. Now I got to figure out what I got to do for the loop down here. It's got to go around a square piece on the front plate. I'll kind of show you where that's at. And it also moves when you move the lever, so I got to take into account on that and see what I can come up with here. Since I don't have the original, didn't come with the machine, I'm just kind of having to make it up from the 2 pictures I could find on this machine online and try to make it look like it did back when it was good. So I'll show you how that looks when I mock it up and what I mean there. So that's where that piece goes. See if I can get a good shot in there for you. And I got that added on. Now that piece goes towards that front plate. Looking in the original pictures, it's supposed to go around both sides of that 3.5 inch piece. And the stops will be where those 2 notches are. So I got to try to make a band or a loop that goes around that you step on the front. What that does is actuate this little rod that comes up. And after you pop the block, pack the block, you got to pop the cores. You can see the cores there, because they get in there pretty tight, and you can break the handle if you don't. So you'll step on that pedal, and it'll move this little flipper right here, and that's what pops the core. And from there, you can finish pulling your core with the bar. So that makes it pretty nice. Pops back in tight. And let me tell you, if you pack her good and tight, they definitely need a little something to get them to first break. You pop it about a 1/2 inch and then the core will come out real easy. So that'll kind of be the speed on that. Now one of the things I got to take into account is when I move this, you can see that rod goes forward about 1.5 inches. See if I can get a better shot. See, that goes forward and back, so got to try to figure out my spacing on that so it don't hit when I do that. It'll be a little tricky, but I'm up for the challenge. See what all I can come up with here. So I'll show you what I come up with. After looking at what steel I have around here, I decided to use a piece of 4-inch square tubing, 1/4 inch, to make the band. I need to put just a little space in there to get her back so I got a place to put the flat stock in so it all lines up great. So now I'm going to start the top piece, make it nice flat all the way around, probably around the corners. And we'll see what she looks like once we get her on there. So it's coming along. Well, I just finished welding everything together and finishing this part. Tried to round all the edges on this thing and make it look a little more antique. Kind of looks like the pictures I seen online. I hope it's kind of close. It was a little more rounded, but I didn't want to try to bend flat metal to make the radius that I needed. Should look pretty good in there. And I give it a little bit of a bend there so that give me something to step, make it look more like a step. So this piece has definitely had a whole lot of work for this machine. You see where, remember we fixed that part, and I brazed on this new steel to make it all look pretty close to the original. Of course I just used modern day weld to get that all on there. Once you put paint on there, you shouldn't see it too much, unless you lay on the ground to really pay attention, but the weld should be hid pretty good. Alright, so I guess the next thing to do is try it out, see how it fits. If she fits good, then I guess we're going to put another coat of paint on there, and we can call the lower machine complete for now. I don't think there's anything else I really much need on there, so looks pretty good. Let's see how it fits. Well, I got her all hooked up in there. You can see how that goes forward. Spring holds it up. Rod goes up to the little flipper piece. And there's the part there in front. Seems like she's fitting in there pretty good. Got a little space in there. Goes right on around it. Now when I step on this pedal, you should be able to see the cores move. And what that does is pushes the cores back to pop the core. And you let the pedal back up. And you could finish just taking the handle and push her back. That helps pop the core, get her working. But when she goes back and comes back forward, you can see that pedal moves. So I had to take into account the space in the front and back when you move the core. So it was a little tricky, but I had fun making it. And we'll get her all painted up, and the bottom machine will be all done. So again, the Eclipse machine, and then we're going to work on the rest. See if I can't fix some of the holes in the bottom or plate it or something here. So got a few ideas. Stay tuned for more, and give me a thumbs up.